First, we call on the President to send a special message to Congress on the importance of the nation-to-nation relationship. In 1970, President Nixon sent a historic message to Congress on tribal self-determination. That message launched the self-determination era, the very framework that allowed tribes to prove our capacity as governments. All presidents should do the same. Second, we call on the President to fully implement the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. We specifically call for a review of all existing federal law to ensure they're in alignment with the Declaration. Third, we call for an annual nation-to-nation summit and ongoing high-level meetings. This would institutionalize the current Nation Summit, Tribal Nation Summit, a meaningful commitment to our nation-to-nation relationship that must be upheld by all future presidents. We also call on the President to convene regular meetings on specific issues between tribal leaders and cabinet secretaries. Fourth, elevate Native people in the federal government. It's past time for qualified Native people to be seated on the federal bench. The appointment of a senior advisor on Native American affairs has advanced policymaking at the White House, and we applaud President Obama for his leadership. With the importance of the Indian budget in the coming decade, we urge the creation of an Office for Native American Programs at the Office of Management and Budget. And finally, we call upon all candidates to actively engage Indian country in your campaign. We invite each candidate to visit Indian country to outline your policy positions. We also urge the campaigns to make sure tribal nations are part of the discussion at the presidential debates. Between now and the election, we have a lot of work to do. For all of the partisan challenges of the past year, the Congress has found common ground on Indian policy. Under the bipartisan leadership of Senators Akaka and Barrasso, the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs has reached across party lines to develop legislation that promises to transform Indian country. And in the House, Republicans like Chairman Don Young, Democrats like Dale Kildee, have worked hard to educate their constituents and colleagues about the benefits tribal governments offer our nation. There are some important things the Congress can do right now that can grow Indian economies and create jobs. Without spending a dime, the Congress can fix the problems created by the Carcieri Supreme Court decision and offer certainty for land and trust transactions that are critical to Indian country's economic future. The Department of the Interior is already acting to streamline lease approvals for renewable energy development, and we urge Congress to pass the Hearth Act to expand leasing reform and pass an Indian energy self-determination law. Congress can also act on public safety legislation that will attract businesses to our communities. We urge the passage of amendments to the Stafford Act that are supported by FEMA and would remove burdens from states and tribes in times of critical emergencies when lives are on the line. Native women are the protectors of our culture, our families, and our future. We call on the Senate to pass the Violence Against Women Act reauthorization and the Save Native Women Act, both of which would take critical steps to address the horrific rates of violence being perpetrated against our women. The Native Class Act offers a chance to provide the kind of education our young people need to succeed today and build economies Indian country needs for tomorrow. Our young people must not be left behind anymore. Congress must stand with us now to get these bills passed. But long-term success depends on America keeping her promises. That's why NCAI, along with our partners in Indian country, are making available to you today our plan for the Indian budget. This document outlines our vision for investing in the future of our America and stabilizing the Indian budget. It will create reliable, safe domestic energy. It will build a 21st education system in America. It will modernize our infrastructure, and it will fund implementation of critical legislation like the Tribal Law and Order Act and the Indian Health Care Improvement Act.